So there's a lot of accountability I want to talk about. Not going to be able to talk about all of it in this video, but be able to give you a good amount of examples and hit upon a good amount of points. There's a lot, especially in the dog training world or just in the dog world, there's a lot of accountability on us to be had. So I just wanted us to start understanding the expectations for us, especially if you're thinking about getting a dog. Seeing this video might help you make a decision on that, whether you get them or not after. That's on you. But I want to start off with talking about accountability, kind of going over the definition itself. So we have accountability, and that's the fact or condition of being responsible, right? So it's the fact or condition of being responsible. So I want us to be responsible, the fact, factually. I want us all to be responsible if we have dogs and to be accountable for them, right? And I'm going to be breaking down different aspects of that, right? So, first, we have to understand we have to be responsible for our dog's nature, right? They were drives. Whoops. They got drives, right? They got drives, genetics. Sorry, my handwriting's bad. We have their breed, just pretty much another word we can use, right? We have fears, and then we have their favorites. Favorites. And we are going to have to be responsible each day, each week, month, year until when we get our dog until they die. We have to be responsible for the drives, their genetics, their breed, if there's any fears or any other predispositions that they are shown to have, right? And then we have to know their favorites, or we build upon our games of play and tug, and then, oh my goodness, of fetch and tug, and then we can see through that what their favorite section or part of those games are, and then really have fun and utilize that. But we have to fulfill and guide all these genetics, right? We have to fulfill and guide them. If we're not doing that, all these energy, drive, genetics, what their dog's meant to be, fears, what they do and don't love, everything gets heightened by like 20 to 100% when we're not fulfilling their needs and genetics and drives, right? Because if we're not doing that, that is what overflows into behavioral issues. We got chomping on shoes, on couches. We have reactive barking, protecting mom from dad, right? So we have all these different things that we aren't fulfilling just simply through a play session, right? And then we're creating all these other behavioral issues. So if we start fulfilling and guiding these first, oh, we're gonna have way better of a relationship than anything else, right? Um, now we want to get to a little bit more on accountability, and I have a nice analogy for accountability as well. I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, I really didn't like brushing my teeth at all. It was oh man, I hated being told to do it every single day. It was kind of annoying. And I mean, my parents explained all the good, bad outcomes, cavities, dentist visits, bad breath, not pearly white teeth. Yeah, none of that really motivated me initially, honestly. I was a kid. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to do other things, right? I wanted to play. Um, so what actually worked? Well, it was the repetition. It was the constant reminders, and then it's the consequences, the good and bad for not doing it, right? If I didn't do it, there's good and bad consequences for doing it and not doing it. That external pressure, what now we call accountability, right? Guided me to build that habit. Even if something I didn't want to do now, I, I don't know. I do it daily, right? And over time, I just didn't need the reminders anymore. I just did it. And the wild part about all of this is I started to enjoy it. I really did. Not only was I brushing my teeth, sometimes twice, fuck around 3 times a day, um, but actually started taking pride in doing it without being asked. And beating my parents to that reminder made me feel so good, and I owned it. And it just came more naturally, honestly. And that's exactly how negative reinforcement works. That's how accountability works. This is what I'm trying to talk about. We have to be accountable and be that external pressure for our dogs daily and give them the good and bad consequences so they start living a life where they can start understanding when and where to be contextually appropriate, right? We have to guide them. We have to hold them accountable. And eventually their choices and habits are going to become automatic, reliable, and enjoyable, right? Super fun. Having a stubborn dog that doesn't understand is it's super frustrating, hard. Dog who's always tugging and pulling this or that way. Like being able to like actually train and communicate and have a conversation with your dog is so important. It's so important. It's so important. Especially because we get into dogs and us, we're social species. We need that clear intent to understand each other, right? And this is where we get into a lot of issues with accountability. As social species, let me do that. As social species, we need clear intent. We're always going to be second guessing intent. Even humans, we could be second guessing intent. So dogs, we really want to be able to really cue them in, have them easily know what's going on, right? Clear intent with another dog, with another human, right? To go about that, we have to utilize space, positioning, and freedom. All this is going to help us with intent, right? Space. We might have to get more space from a different animal or from a different person if our dog is feeling some type of way or starting to react even. Or the opposite, some other dog is reacting or coming towards us in a aggressive or in a ill intent manner, right? So we're going to have to get space. Our positioning can also be changing as well. Utilize space, position, and freedom to really go about showing our dog where they should and shouldn't be doing during all these different events, right? And be able to responsibly cue them into it, which is very important. We can be able to cue them into the position if we're needed, right? We want them to have all um, this freedom, well, space and positioning and being able on be on cue is going to really be able to allow us to remain in that freedom, right? We want our dog to be free, just social, right? And respectful. Um, we want him to be socialized, right? We want him to be able to give and go. While he's in free, we want to be able to have him see and understand, like, oh, if that dog is barking and trying to get after us, like maybe we don't go over and say hi to that dog. Maybe that's when you go the other way and get away from the dog, give a little more space, right? We can also cue them into that, right? Go this way, not that way. Wrong, go. Wrong, no, good, go, right? Start cueing them into everything, right? And then the more we see we have those responses with our cues into position. Let's say we're walking, well, we'll get into different things, but there are times where we have to have them more into position. We have to time them up to get through or overcome sticky situations. But being able to cue them into that is really our huge responsibility, and it's on us to be our cheat sheet for our dogs. We want them checking in and cueing into us like, hey, that dog is like good, right? You got me, right? You're like, yeah, yeah, exactly, of course. And if they need anything extra, we can then tell them, right? Which is super awesome. Now let's go over several scenarios. I want to go over a sidewalk scenario first, because this is everyone has a sidewalk, right? So this is a sidewalk to where there's cars. You see on this side of the road, and then maybe this is a sidewalk where there's buildings on this side of the road, all right? And then it's just the same on this, right? So there's cars, there, and then building there, right? All right. So when we're on a sidewalk and we want to be respectful and responsible for our dogs, right? And accountable for them. So we see the X's are going to be the blue X is me, the red X is someone else, right? And then the circles are going to be our dogs. Red circle is usually wrong positioning, green circle is right positioning, right? So we get into this scenario where we're going on a sidewalk, we're walking down our road, and I'm this blue X, right? And if I wanted to continue walking down, you'll see that we're going to run right into, if the dog is on my right side and the dog is on the left side of that red X, you're going to see we're going to have that conflict right here, right in the middle. And there's going to be a big old pressure buildup. And then they're either going to be really respectful and meet each other nicely and keep going, or that's a fight, right? So to mitigate that and to be a little bit more respectful and to keep flow, because we want to be able to keep flow on everything, right, guys? Super important. Super important. We want to be able to keep flow, keep moving through traffic. So if we see that they are still remaining on that left side, we might want to position our dog into a better spot to where instead of on that side, we position them over here, like you'll see, position them over here, right? And then now we have our whole body. If we keep progressing forward, we have our body to then keep them on our side and to protect them and advocate for them if that human or that other dog cuts across, right? And then we can step in and protect if needed. So simply just changing the position and being able to cue our dog, whoops, just simply being able to cue our dog into that position is going to be able to have them feel so much more confident and secure and that we got their back and advocating for them. And then we're relieving that stress and that pressure as well. Because it's like, hey, just get on that left side, get your own space. And then when they're on that left side, we can go, good, keep them away, or we can then tighten it up. Let's go, heel, left side, heel, right? We can change that up. Different positions can definitely help us, right? Yeah, because I've been on the receiving end as well when I'm the red X and I don't have like the most best dog, right? Maybe a little fearful, a little reactive. And like it's caused instances. It's caused issues. It's caused problems when we kept going on that same pathway, right? So, like, just from experience and learning, like, we can do these simple things just to mitigate and help even better, right? Just simply shifting the dog's position from the left to the right or the right to the left can help out drastically with overcoming reactivity and proper greetings with dogs, right? Um, and then I have to. In our next scenario, it's kind of similar, but it's more of a where we have a restaurant on the way as well, right? So we're walking, there's this pathway right here, sidewalk, there's going to be cars right there, and then there's the whole restaurant or the buildings right to our left, right? So we're going to have to, in this scenario, we're not walking past each other, right? You see that the red X right down there. The red X is sitting at a table. I've done this earlier on in my before I even was a dog trainer, right? I had my cattle dog who was fearful, reactive, and I would take her out, go to a restaurant, and then it's like, oh man, someone's coming with a dog, and it's like, oh, I'm feeling some type of way, and like she's, as you see in this positioning, she's on that left outside. Um, to where if there's a dog on where that red circle is down here, there's a dog here, and this is going to create pressure or some type of meat, which then could have some type of conversation, especially if we're second guessing or fearful, that could re turn into a reaction that's negative, right? So I've felt that where they're coming closer, you're like, oh no, what's gonna happen? What's gonna go? And then I didn't know what to do, right? Now I would simply just position this girl over here. Super simple, right? So instead of sitting at a table and having my dog in the way of the walkway, maybe I then have my dog change positioning to where they're now in between maybe me and my friend or my family member, right, to my side and not in the middle of the walkways to where there's a lot of traffic, dogs and people, right? And there's drunks and other people, random things that happen, falling over. You just will always want to be able to ensure their safety, right? So having them on that right side in between you two, or even under the table a little bit will ensure that safety, right? And then if we are the person walking by, I especially training tons of dogs. We go downtown and we start walking down a street, and you see all these tables lined up, and then you do see that one dog. Um, Whoops. You do see um, that one dog who was laying down at the table kind of perk up and then maybe stand up and then maybe go more to the left, more into that, might come out a little bit more into the sidewalk, right? And then I've been walking, it's like, oh my goodness, this owner doesn't even understand or recognize like his dog's feelings right now. It's like, oh, they're not feeling good. They're feeling some type of way, a little insecurity. So it's like, well, I rather make sure just to if my dog was on that left side heel, kind of like normal, I would then switch him to the right side or say right side heel, whatever your cue may be, or just free right side. Um, and then I would be able to advocate if that dog kept coming and approaching all the way over, I could then cut him off right here, uh, and then still advocate for my dog's space and safety as well, right? So I've been on both sides, and I know it could feel um, gut wrenching and the opposite of butterflies. Very tense sometimes. But we can just simply positioning our dog and moving them because we don't want them going into the road, right? We don't have that much space, but we can get you to the right side, and then I can be that physical barrier and block to help keep the other dog and you separate, right? We don't have to meet all these dogs. We really shouldn't either. And then yeah, that next scenario kind of already shows you guys where you should be positioning your dog if you are at restaurant chilling. I would honestly have my dog on that right side, um, sleeping, done window maybe, where they're in that calm, inevitable window where it's just the only expectations is just calm liberty, which not really that much liberty because we're at the restaurant eating, right? So it's just calmly lay down here, let things go and see things pass. The last one is kind of taking it out from a city, and then we're going to go into where we have a little bit more space, and we're at a park, right? So we're at a park, we can still utilize the same positioning cues, to where if we're about to be walking and crossing paths like down here, you'll see that simply shifting your dog over to the other side is going to create less conflict. And we're going to be a little bit more accountable for our dog as well. We don't, and we shouldn't have our dog running up to every single person, every single dog, right? If we don't have the ability to influence simply a recall or saying their name and get them to check in, like they definitely shouldn't be meeting anyone else, right? Because we don't have that ensure safety to where we can actually get them to pause and like we can control our dog, right? We can have our dog going up to someone and just biting. Like, what? Come on now. So when we're at the park, like we can definitely utilize that positioning simply from the left side to the right side to move them around and get into a little bit better safety. But when we're at a park as well, we're going to start running into a higher issue of off-leash dogs, right? So with off-leash dogs, we can kind of do a similar thing, and we definitely want to be utilizing our body, our stance, our energy, our presentation to show that we are serious about maintaining our space between our dog and the new dog coming through. That's where I've always, especially with a dog approaching, I've would have the leash, hold my dog behind me a little bit, and then like I'm stepping forward and coming towards that dog, saying no or or doing something um, to try and stop their progression, have them quickly pause. And it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't come up to this guy and this dog. And it's like, yeah, you shouldn't. um, uh, Off leash dogs, you can also utilize depends on the demeanor and everything as well. We honestly we want to be just being able to create and get that distance and that space. Utilizing a long line or flexi leash for a dog can help a lot. Then they can go up to, if we're on flexi, just like 26 feet away. They can keep exploring, having fun, and then we can utilize and practice our recalls as well when we need them to get in closer. Especially if we have off leash dogs. Uh, whoops. We have off leash dog kind of all around. Um, Maybe we want to tighten it up, right? So we have all these dogs all the way over here. Maybe we ask for a nice tight heel on that right side, and then we walk through all that situation and then free and go through it, right? Um, and then as long as we keep walking, keep going, like we're not going to be able to, one, we keep our dog moving and not being able to like freeze. Usually usually if you just keep movement and keep your dog going, even if they're reactive or fearful, it'll help the situation way better. The second they get into that moment where they feel like they have to freeze, that's where they're gonna have that big decision to be made. Like, do I fight? Do I flight? Do I surrender? What am I about to be doing, right? That's where they're always second guessing intent. So we want to be able to help them out. That's where we can utilize like our recall cue. Maybe they do get a little stiff, and then we can utilize that recall cue, and then they have to beat our help, or then they get our help, and then they recall, and then we work on, oh, you recall with another dog around, higher distractions. Awesome, perfect, right? We just want to be able to ensure their safety and not get into dog fights all the time. So if you need to have an extra leash, like a 6 foot leash, and swing it around, um, say no and swing it around and go towards the off leash dog. You just want to take some space and then remain there until you see the other dog pause and disengage, or just like understand, come to some type of agreement where it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna keep progressing. There's more fun to be had elsewhere. It's like, okay, great, yeah, leave me and my dog alone right now, and then you'll find respectful dogs along as well, and then we can start when and where, right? Who, what, right? Get a little bit better of a sweeter, nicer dog. Maybe we see a nice, sweet, happy-go-lucky dog who's in front of us, maybe over here, saying hi to all these off leash dogs, but we make and we note that, oh, she's the dog has been super sweet and soft and maybe submissive or whatever, in greeting these other dogs. So it's like, oh, I know at least she's going to be softer if she came up to me and my dog. So always being able to understand like the dogs before they even come over to you is, and being able to like see and check them out is huge as well. Because then we can give and go on who we do and don't want to meet. And then we can build upon that practice as well and really have them knocking out good good dog meetings and not, deterring into big explosions and bad stuff. And that's where it's like on any of these situations, like when it comes to like accountability and just being able to keep your dog with you and keep the flow going, like we don't want to disrupt flow, create pressure moments where we have to explode and we can't relieve that pressure. And as simple as just changing our direction, changing the position or the side that our dog could be on, right? It could be simple as that. If I'm, walking my dog, um, instead of my dog being on this side, right? Um, Simply just changing that to the dog being on this side, right? Um, can help change the whole situation, whole story, right? And actually have our owners and people being accountable and not having all these dog fights and bad dog meetings go on, right? I hate seeing it all the time on Instagram. Just oh, it's so terrible to see. We have to be a little bit more guiding and lifeguarding everyone. Make sure we have good responses and to our cues and everything, and then we can really allow more greetings and sociability. It's just not a lot of dogs are able to give and go. So when it comes to a time where it's like, hey, don't do that right now, the other dog's like, oh, you're trying to do something right now? And then it comes into a fight, which we don't want. We don't want dogs fighting. We want neutrality and love, peace. But that's pretty much the end of the video for accountability. I just want to do a quick one going over a couple of scenarios to where just simply talking about positioning, um, space, and freedom can have our dog and us understand what we need to be doing more be more accountable for. Eh. Be more accountable for. And it all comes down to being responsible for our dog's nature. We have to fulfill their drives, their genetics. We have to understand their breeds so we can better fulfill those drives, their genetics, understand any fears and their favorites. And each day we go about fulfilling and guiding those. And we're going to have a way better dog who understands holistically the world, right? Because one, they're not trying to be fighting and be in conflict with us all the time over the genetics that we haven't done our part of fulfilling and guiding. And then they're just being able to relax and enjoy and understand the world way more. Just being able to be contextually appropriate is huge. And it's like the first step. Like all dogs have to understand like their actions, their behaviors get them good and bad consequences, right? Uh, gets you sitting gets you the yes. You not sitting gets you the no, right? So your behavior starts changing how we go about. And we really want a dog understanding like they can detect they can really have if they want a really good outing, they understand like the do's and don'ts, right? And that's what we just want. We want to create a socialized dog who understands just contextually when to be appropriate. And I hope this little accountability video with some great examples and information help you guys understand this a little bit more. Thank you all for watching and have great training.